Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone the announcement Wendy just gave in Spanish is that simultaneous interpretation is available in English and Spanish throughout the session. To activate it, please click on the interpretation icon in the bottom Zoom toolbar and select your preferred language, English or Spanish. And another announcement before we continue. We would like to invite all of you to attend the Cerrito Forum. If you're enjoying learning from each other online, it's even more fun when we're all together. And so October 12 to 16, we will be hosting the Cerrito Forum in Paraguay. And it brings together practitioners, innovators, and leaders from around the world to continue these conversations, share experiences, and explore new ideas for advancing development and poverty elimination. And if you'd like to learn more, Wendy is going to put in the chat the link to the Cerrito Forum, cerrito.com.py, and you can contact us at cerritoforum@povertystoplight.org.py. All right, today's session, we're delighted to have two leading microfinance organizations here talking to us about how they work to eliminate poverty through microfinance. And many of you know that microfinance, when started by Muhammad Yunus and others, was all about eliminating poverty, reaching people living in poverty and helping them move out over time. But we find in many cases it has not achieved its goal. But we have two organizations here who are achieving that goal. And they do that by an interesting use of the tools of microfinance, but also technology and other tools that they bring together to help people see their condition and to move beyond it, to move to a better place. So I'm joined today by Luis Fernando Sanabria, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Fundación Paraguaya, and Smita Bhatnagar, who is Senior Coordinator for SEWA in India, and Salma Kagadi, who is the Change Coordinator for SEWA in India. All right. So together we're going to explore how institutions can better understand their clients' realities and all their dimensions, design more targeted interventions, and use technology to connect financial inclusion more closely with poverty alleviation and long-term well-being. And I want to start by giving SEWA. Most of us on this call are familiar with Fundación Paraguaya, but many may not be familiar with SEWA. And so, Smita and Salma, could you introduce us to SEWA? You're an organization built on Gandhian principles. So we'd love to hear about your organization, what you do, where you serve. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. So once again, namaste everyone. Pleasure to be here talking about our experiences. So basically, SEWA is a self-employed women's association. We are a member-based organization with 54 years of experience now. We were established in 1972, and we are a union of self-employed women. We were founded by our founder, Shri Ilaben Bhatt, and our goals are to provide full employment and self-reliance to our members. And by that, we mean that our members should have income security and social security because we work from the poorest of the poor strata of the women. Having said that, we are actually a family of organizations. So SEWA is the mother organization, and since full employment and self-reliance was our founders' main objective, so we thought that the women worker should not just remain worker, but become owner and manager of her own trade. So we have organized the women into trade-wise collectives, and each of the collective is registered as an autonomous body. So when we call ourselves like a huge banyan tree, where the union is the whole trunk, and then we have various economic branches. So we are a family of organization with 113 plus cooperatives with different trades. So it could be a healthcare cooperative, it could be our own bank, it could be a tree growers cooperative. And then we also have member promoted value chains, agro-based value chain and government-based value chain. So we are like, we have cooperatives, federations, for-profit, not-for-profit companies in our fold. And asset building has always been a very important part for us. So ever since we were established two things were very prominent. So we work with family as a unit, but under the leadership of women. And we always wanted that women should be the owner of the asset. And we also think that poverty, our founder used to say that poverty is a form of violence, with consent of the society. So how do we, bring our members out of poverty? And for that, we are working with an integrated manner. So we have our own, all our activities are need-based and demand-driven as per the members. And we build the capacities of our own leaders to take it to, our current membership is 3.9 million across 20 states of India. And we are very actively working in South of Asia.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah, SEWA, when I first got started in microfinance, SEWA was one of the organizations I learned about that was already going and doing great work. So great to have you on the call. And I remember Luis Fernando told me when he was visiting with you in India, you had a unique take on technology, what technology you use. You didn't want to use state-of-the-art technology. So can you explain how you think about technology in terms of what will serve your members?
Is it for us?
Yep, that's for you.
Okay. So as I was sharing, we have 54 years we have completed. And then we also realized when we were about completing 40 years, we have many younger generation members becoming members of SEWA, and their profile is very different, aspirations are different. And we all and the country as a whole was also changing. A lot of technological developments were coming in India. And our objective was, how does technology reach to the grassroots? It's not that that strata of the society, how did they use technology in their own trades and in our own work. And then, as I said, that youth was becoming members of SEWA, and they come from a little educated platform than our older generation members. And of course, as we all know, they are much more techno savvy than all of us together. So since our membership is very large, we have our own application, a membership management system, which we call, where we renew our members every year, annual membership fees, which is done through an app. And we use that app, and the whole data is being shared by the coordinators who can then immediately approve, and all of us. It's a very transparent application. Once we had that application tried and tested, we also have our economic entities where we are selling in the value chain, we are selling our products. And when we go to sell our products, we have these applications through which we collect orders from the customers. And when we were introduced, and SEWA has always been monitoring its performance by a set of 11 questions. And when we have devised these 11 questions working with the members, and we were trying to collect the information manually. And when we came into contact with Foundation Paraguay, we have adopted the poverty stoplight tool, and how we are applying, maybe do we talk about it now or maybe later? So that was an additional technology for monitoring, for which Salma will talk more.
And as I understand it, you want to make sure the technology works for the people you serve. So you don't use the latest technology, you use the technology that the people you're working with actually use. Is that right?
So to add a point out here, we are not able to take anything as is. So whatever technology has to be adapted by the members, and members need to own it. Only if they own it, they'll be using it. Otherwise, technology adopted, huge money spent, but not being implemented. So we have to do we sit together with the technology partners, a lot of learning, unlearning happens, and then it goes translate to the grassroots.
Yep, very good. So let's go a little bit further in why you thought the poverty stoplight would help, how it fits with the principles you're operating with, and how you've used it and what your plans are going forward.
Oh, I'll just start and then my colleague can add on it.
Yep.
As I was mentioning, we have been monitoring our performances, how our members are progressing every year. That is important for us. So in terms of food security, income security, housing, shelter, healthcare, such 11 questions we have. And based on that, every year we used to be evaluating. Now, when we were small, we used to do it interacting by having meetings with each other, and the performance review was being happening. So it helps us to understand where we are lacking and where we have progressed, and where additional interventions from us are needed. So having said that, as we multiplier effect, we are growing and growing, it was becoming very difficult for us to do these things, monitor manually. In addition to that, we also know data is very important. We need to have a scientific base. If we are going for any policy level interventions, we need to have a supporting data along with the qualitative information. And that's when we were introduced to this tool, we immediately thought that this is going to be very helpful because we'll have the statistics, and it just doesn't help us understand, but member herself. So member herself can understand where she is and where she wants to
Mhm.
go and what she
Mhm.
has to do. Maybe Salma Ben, who can add more on this at the grassroots level, how we have been taking this. You can even say how we have adapted this to.
હા, એટલે જે શરૂઆતમાં સ્મિતાબેન જે વાત કરી કે આપણે જયારે પોવર્ટી સ્ટોપલાઇટની આખી જે વાત આવી અને એમાં કેમ કે 11 સવાલ પણ એને કેવી રીતે ડિટેલમાં, તો સૌથી પહેલું તો એ જ હતું કે એને આપણે કેવી રીતે એલોબરેટ કરી અને એના ઇન્ડિકેટર્સ કેવી રીતે આઈડેન્ટિફાઈ કરીએ, કેમ કે કદાચ એક જગ્યાએ બેસીને ન કરી શકીએ પણ આપણે જેમ કે આપણા જે આગેવાન છે, આપણે એક્ઝિક્યુટિવ કમિટી જે છે એ બધાને આપણે એને ઇન્વાઇટ બી કર્યા અને એને પહેલા તો સૌથી પહેલા પોવર્ટી સ્ટોપલાઇટ શું છે એના વિશેની સમજ આપી અને એને આપણે કેવી રીતે મોનિટર કરી શકીએ આપણા મેમ્બર્સનું. તો પહેલા તો એ સમજ ને પ્લસ એની સાથે સાથે જે ઇન્ડિકેટર્સ જે છે એને આખી એક પ્રક્રિયા એને ફાઇનલ કરવામાં આપણે કરી.
So here also, as we shared, so sorry, Salma Ben is talking in Gujarati, our language.
Yeah.
So here also we tried to develop the indicators for all these 11 questions that we have. And for that, we were sitting with our grassroots members, our leaders, and we explained the whole tool. I think the teams from Foundation Paraguay had also come twice and thrice, and they did the presentations. And we could feel that, yeah, this is the tool that we can get connected with. But we were not able to understand the indicators straight away, as I said. So we, first of all, worked on identifying the indicators. It was a process. And then we also made it in our local language. We also then decided how is this tool going to be used at the grassroots? Yes. What is our role as a trainer to monitor the usage of the tool?
અને એની સાથે સાથે જ્યારે આ ઇન્ડિકેટર્સ ફાઇનલ થયા અને પછી આપણે એને પોવર્ટી સ્ટોપલાઇટ એપમાં જે રીતે નાખી જ્યારે વાત કરી, તો એપ એ તો નખાઈ ગયું પણ પછી જ્યારે એકચ્યુઅલી ગ્રાસરૂટ લેવલે જ્યારે આપણે એને વાપરવાનું શરૂ કર્યું તો સૌથી પહેલો પ્રોબ્લેમ આવતો હતો કે ઇન્ટરનેટનો, કેમ કે ઘણી જગ્યાએ એવા ગામો છે જે બહુ ઇન્ટિરિયર છે તો ત્યાં નેટવર્ક ઇસ્યુ આવતો હતો. એટલે બહેનો આવે કેમ કે યુઝર આઈડી પાસવર્ડ બનાવવાના એ બધું થઈ ગયું. બહેનોને સમજાવી દીધું કેવી રીતના શું કરવાનું, ટ્રેનિંગ આપી, પણ જ્યારે બહેનો જાય એટલે તરત ફોન આવે કે ઇન્ટરનેટ નથી ચાલતું, હવે શું કરવાનું.
So another practical challenge of using this in the grassroots was of the connectivity. Where we are working is in the remote rural areas. So if internet is not there, then how do we update the information in the app? So we had the indicators finalized. We had the sisters who were trained. They were very eager going to the grassroots, collect information. They used to log in and then start working. But then they used to call that internet is not working here. What do we do?
એટલે પછી ખાસ ફરી ટીમ સાથે, પેરાગ્વે ટીમ અને પોવર્ટી સ્ટોપલાઇટ ટીમ સાથે અમે ફરી કનેક્ટ થયા અને વાત કરી કે ભાઈ આનો શું હલ નીકળી શકે. એટલે પછી એને આખું ઓફલાઈન વર્ઝન કેવી રીતના કરી શકાય, પણ એ બી હતું કે બહેનોને ઓફલાઈન જ્યારે ડેટા ભરી દે ને પાછા આવે તો એને કેવી રીતે જ્યારે એમને વાઈફાઈ કે નેટવર્ક મળે ત્યારે કેવી રીતે કરવાનું, તો વારંવાર ભૂલી જતા. એટલે આખું એનું મેન્યુઅલ ગુજરાતીમાં તૈયાર કર્યું કે કેવી રીતે એને યુઝ કરવાનું, અને જ્યારે તમે કદાચ ઇન્ટરનેટ ન હોય અને જ્યારે તમે ડેટા પાછા આવો અને જ્યારે મળે તો એને કેવી રીતે તમારે પોવર્ટી સ્ટોપલાઇટ એપમાં ચડાવવાનું, તો આખું એક મેન્યુઅલ તૈયાર કર્યું પછી.
So we were continuously interacting with the teams, and we were given an offline version. So when we go to the grassroots, we collect the information, and whenever we come back in the network area, we then upload the information. That facility was also provided. But our grassroots members used to forget about it. So we then jointly worked on preparing a whole manual or kind of a reckoner for them so that they understand each step by step.
અને એના આધારે આખું પછી બહુ ઇઝી પણ થયું બધાને કરવામાં. એટલે એવી રીતના પણ ઘણીવાર એવું થાય કે પેલું કરવા શું કહેવાય 10 ફોર્મ ભરી દીધા આજના દિવસમાં અને કદાચ એ પેલું ઓફલાઈન વર્ઝન કરીને પછી ન કરી શકે એટલે ઘડી ઘડી ફોન આવે. પછી આપણે એમને સમજાવીએ કે ભાઈ તમે સિંક જ્યાં છે ત્યાં તમે ક્લિક કરશો તો તમારા ડેટા બધા અપડેટ પછી દેખાય. એટલે વેરી હેપી કે કેમ કે એ લોકોને બી બહુ થતું કે જ્યારે ગામોમાં જાય તો બહેનો, કેમ કે આમાં એક ફાયદો એ હતો કે આગેવાન ભલે જતા હોય પણ જે મૂલ્યાંકન આખું થતું પોવર્ટી સ્ટોપલાઇટમાં કે રેડ, યલો એન્ડ ગ્રીન, તો હું પોતે મેમ્બર્સ તરીકે કયામાં છું એ જાતે કરતા. તો મેમ્બર્સને પણ થતું કે મારું આ આખું મૂલ્યાંકન કેવી રીતે થાય છે ને હું ક્યાં છું એ સભ્ય પોતે જાણી શકતા હતા.
So this has, I mean, the app has been very much simplified. It's very easy, simple to use. And when we fill up the forms and when we come back and upload it, we can see immediately what the performances are like. And when we go back to the field and when we show to the member, it's very exciting. They are very excited to see, oh, how many indicators we are in red, green, or how many we are in red. So for me, also, it is important as a member, not just as my leader or as any other person. So this has proved very, very useful to us.
એટલે એના જ આધારે પછી મેમ્બર્સ જાતે નક્કી કરી શકે કે ભાઈ આટલા બધા રેડ છે, લાલ કલર છે, તો મારે હવે કઈ પ્રાયોરિટાઇઝ કરવા કે હવે મારે કયા 5 એવા મુદ્દા છે જેની પર કામ કરું જેનાથી હું યલોમાં આવું ને પછી યલો વાળા ગ્રીનમાં આવું. તો એ થોડુંક જે તે ગામના લીડર કે જે લીડર છે એમની સાથે રહીને પ્લાન કરે અને પછી ધીરે ધીરે કેવી રીતના, એટલે આજે ઘણા ખરા જે રેડમાં હતા એ યલોમાં આવ્યા છે અને યલો વાળા ગ્રીનમાં પણ આવ્યા છે.
So we all have a monthly forum where we have a trade committee meetings, and these members used to come and present that these are the areas where we are still in red. This much we can do, but this is what the support we need from SEWA. And they also work on prioritizing their own needs. And they were very happily sharing that. And today, Salma Ben is sharing that there are several members who from red have moved to orange and yellow and then to green.
That's great. And it's good to hear. I mean, we talk about with the poverty stoplight that there's individual agency, the person filling out the assessment and then seeing themselves and choosing to make change. But then there's also group agency, which is what you're doing with your committees when you report the information back and they tell you, this is what we're going to do on our own. This is where we need help from you. And then there's the third level is systems change, which you're also using the data to do systems change by you reporting to state and national government. These are the challenges that our members are facing. So you're using the stoplight at all 3 levels that it was intended to be used. So it's great to hear how you're doing that, how you're using this technology to make change at all 3 levels. And so I want to switch now to Luis Fernando.
I have one more thing, sorry, just one more thing to add.
Please. Yes,
Since
please.
you started off with our own technology and we have several different apps, now the future that we are thinking of is integrating everything together. So members don't have to use different technologies, and there itself we are also trying to integrate with the Poverty Stoplight tool as well. And this is what the technology team from Foundation Paraguay and our IT teams are working on.
That's great. And that's what we're hearing from more and more organizations. They don't want to have separate tools, but they want everything together in one tool. And our team in Paraguay is doing a great job in putting these things together with other tools that people are working with. Luis Fernando, Fundación Paraguaya has been working with this for many years now, and you're now starting to see, well, why not move everyone to green? Why not help everyone get to green in all of the areas where they want to be in green? And can you explain how Fundación Paraguaya is doing that? How are you looking to help all of your clients move to green?
Well, yeah, that's been always the idea, Larry.
Yeah.
We started Martin started Fundación Paraguaya with the initial theory of change that helping people generate income, they having the family more income, they can fix all the remaining indicators. And to do that, we promote microfinance and we help micro entrepreneurs. And we succeed partially. I mean, many of our clients overcame poverty, but just income poverty. And years ago, we realized that even though they have money, they had no bathrooms. And that is where we started working with multidimensional poverty. And the stoplight is an effort to measure multidimensional poverty and to keep families involved in that process of overcoming their indicator. But our goal has been also to keep the business running as usual, to keep achieving the standard of the microfinance industry in financial and operational terms. And we wanted to keep the microfinance program profitable because of 2 reasons. One is we need uh, this business to keep running as usual, because we are a self-sufficient organization. We don't want to lose money in the microfinance program, because that is what sustain the program. And the second, you spoke about the microfinance industry. It's a huge industry around the world that started with the purpose of helping families overcome poverty, and that somehow loses the north, you know. And actually, that's still the purpose. The first strategic objective beside Verdeate is to achieve the financial and operational goals we have. So we started the Stoplight. We started implementing the Stoplight. It was a process. We started implementing the Stoplight in microfinance with the low-hanging fruit. During the first year, every credit officer was able to choose the clients they wanted to work with. And later, we started to randomly select clients for the program for every credit officer. But we were only able to work with around 5% of our clients, since that was the number of clients the assessors could mentor without affecting their operational results. Now we have Verdeate. Verdeate is our new initiative that hopes to turn green all the indicators, all the reds and yellows that all our clients have in their life. Unfortunately, we don't have 3.5 million clients. We only have 105,000 clients. So I'm kind of shame when Smita speak about 3.5 million clients, but still, is what we have, and is a huge challenge anyway that need a lot of technology. So the theory is what follows. Previous years' experiences has shown that every family we work with in Paraguay, in our microfinance, every family has green 3 to 4 indicators per year. And every family in Paraguay also have, in average, between 15 to 20 red and yellows. So we hope that a family can overcome all their 15 to 20 red and yellows in 5 year times. So we are using technology to split our portfolio of poverty in the similar way we do with our microloan portfolio. So we have now cohorts or graduation classes. For example, clients that applies the Stoplight in 2024 is the graduation class of 2029. Those that applied the survey in 2025 will be graduating in 2030, and so on, like that. So similarly to what happened in the microfinance industry, in which you should do the follow-up microloan by microloan, client by client, information is vital. And technology is providing us that information to do the follow-up. We have developed the technology needed to provide every loan officer and every branch manager with precise daily information on which client situation have changed, and in which indicators, and what are the red and yellows remaining. That is happening on daily basis. So we are not anymore applying the Stoplight once a year. Clients, thanks to the technology, can report progress every single day, indicator by indicator. And the mentoring has also changing. Has also changed. The credit officers are now combining group mentorship with individual mentorship and with mentorship through WhatsApp. The technology also allowed us to send massive messages to provide information or to encourage clients. For example, we can send a massive WhatsApp message to all, sending information on where to find care services to all the clients that are red or yellow in any given indicator, or we can send information about training on how to build your family budget to all the committees. Those are village banks that have family clients in red or yellow specific in that specific indicator. So day by day, we know how many reds and yellow are pending, how many are being turned into green, graduation class by graduation class, branch by branch, uh, credit officer by credit officer. And this is allowing us to establish goals and mini goals. So we have goals on how many reds and yellow the families that are mentored by any given social worker or credit officer have to achieve in order to reach our goal, which is in 5 years to turn green all the red and yellows we have. This info is also very powerful to create new products. And new products that are financially viable are at the same time solutions for the clients. For example, to provide solutions to bathroom, we are providing a bathroom kit that costs $90, 90, and that clients can pay in small installments of $9 per month. And similar to that, we have done products related to water provision, products related to uh, to uh, kitchen provisions, access to internet, access to education, and like that, because we have now this very powerful data that comes from the families.
That's great, Luis Fernando. And one of the things that technology does is it allows you, as you said, Smita, to work at scale, to work with large numbers of people and to provide the same information. But it also allows you to count, to count how many have this, how many have that. And what you've done with Verdeate is fundamentally changed what you're counting. That many poverty stoplight implementers count the number of assessments they do, and they measure themselves by number of assessments. And you've changed the measure to what's green and what's not yet green. And you're counting the objectives that your clients want to achieve instead of just counting the number of assessments. And by doing that, you're aligning your goals with your clients' goals and making sure they're all reaching their goals. And that's driving you to think of new ways of doing business and new tools, new products you can offer.
Yeah, and it allows you to make poverty part of your goals,
Right.
part of your daily goals. You can establish task indicator by indicator, credit officer by credit officer, and you have branch managers meeting discussing how to fix any given indicator, not just how to reduce overdue loan rate or how to improve productivity in terms of number of microloans delivered. So that is what we have done with Verdeate, is to fully integrate the institutional goals of helping families to overcome multidimensional poverty into the daily operations.
And let me ask Smita and Salma, in your program, how are you using the data you receive to, what have you learned from the data and how has it shaped what you are offering to the clients you serve? You're on mute. So if you...
So yeah, it's helping us in various levels. For example, as Salma Ben shared, at the member level, I'm able to plan. At the members federation level, where we all meet as a cooperative, for us, we know it has, if there are so many reds in particular health indicator in a location, we know that we need to run our health related programs there. And at the same time, we need to lobby with the government to bring in more focus on health related aspects. So what for us, we can then collect this information, make a whole paper and submit to the government and submit to our management. So it's both ways that we have been able to use. But for a grassroots organization like us, we are relatively poor in data. We have lots of data and we don't know what to do with data at times. So we have also ourselves been getting ourselves trained on how do we analyze the data, how do we manage the data. So whenever there's some data coming in, we have to look at with such a lens that how do we, it's not just numbers and we just don't get bogged down with the numbers, but it gives us a clear picture that this number is leading for me to plan particular intervention in this area, or this is good being done out here. How do we get this good in another area? But it has relatively helped us in planning for our members' welfare, as well as in sending up representative papers that this is what is impacting. And for example, we had a lot of youth coming in, but they were I think in yellow in terms of their softer skills, because they were unemployed, not being able to get employment. And then we went deeper into it. We dig deep into it and we realized that they have to be made as entrepreneurship ready or job ready. So then we introduce those training programs. So it helps us plan.
Right. Yeah, that's great to hear. And tell me about how the committees interact with the data. When they see the data for themselves, what do they do with the data at that level?
Could you repeat the members themselves?
The members themselves, when you see at the committee level, when they meet together and look at their data as a group, how do they respond to it?
Yeah, so as Salma was sharing, it is a very quick forum, monthly forum. For all the indicators, we have mentioned periodicity. Once we have done the baseline, there wouldn't be improvement in all the indicators on a regular basis. So there are some things that we monitor monthly, some indicators quarterly, and some annually. And for us, in our annual general meeting, when we come up with the whole presentation and everyone sees about it, but before that, the leader has been interacting with the members. So we have also, it's becoming very difficult for us to give prints to all as we have seen with others, but we have one person in the family who has a smartphone, so they see it. So every month now they ask us, what does my data say? Have we come into yellow? Have we come into green? So that excitement level has now come. So they also wait, when are you next coming to monitor us or to check with us?
That's
But
great.
it's a slow process, I would admit. Louis
Yep.
Bhai said we are 3.5 million, but yes, to reach out to all of them is taking time. But yes, it's when we see the excitement and people start using it, becomes sister to sister learning, and from one geography to other geography, it smoothly goes off.
What, Larry, may I?
Yes, please.
What is, yeah, is as she said, is a process that takes time, and a way we found to accelerate that process is through competitions. So Fundación Paraguaya ran many different competitions that involves the committees. So, for example, My Bathroom, My Pride is a competition in which every committee can subscribe any of its members that is red or yellow in bathroom. So they send a photo of the actual bathroom showing that is in red or yellow, and they commit to help that family to change that red or yellow into green in 5 month period, and they'll send the after photo. So the committees start analyzing the red and yellows and see in which competition they can subscribe any of these members to help them fix that. And we have competition on bathroom, on kitchen, on environment, on teeth, on bedroom, and many other. We have around 15 competitions in total. So and why they do that? To win the prize. For example, the prize for the My Bathroom competition is a trip to the beaches of Brazil for the whole committee. So last year, around 700 bathrooms were built with their money to win the competition. So it's a way, I wanted to just to mention this is because it's a way to leverage and to accelerate that raising of awareness.
Yeah, and what I love about the way you do it, it's the whole committee working together to help one person in the committee to improve, and the sense of working together and camaraderie that grows out of that is something that helps sustain and helps people beyond just helping improve a bathroom. It grows a group together to serve each other.
And it's a way to unleash local resources that exist and that we as Fundación Paraguaya completely ignore. So the aunt that is working in building can provide services for free during the weekend. Some bricks from here or from there. Food selling to raise money to support the cause and like that.
Right. What we're finding in our data in the US is that people who serve others actually go to green faster in their other indicators. So it's an indicator that we're following now because people who start to see themselves as someone who has something to give, something to provide others, actually do better in all of their indicators. And so it's an important part of the process, I think. Um, let's talk about artificial intelligence because any group talking about innovation now has to talk about artificial intelligence and how we think about it, especially when we're thinking about people who are living at the margins who are often excluded from these discussions. So, Smita, to you, how are you thinking at SEWA about using or not using artificial intelligence to support the people you're working with?
So, yes, whether we want or not, this has come in
Right.
and we have to use it positively. So, we have these value chains, as I was suggesting, and youth has very quickly adapted to, and we are quite a lot using it in our digital marketing of our products. So, especially because we may not have the expertise of writing, so we just dump the ideas and the good caption is created. We are using a lot of all these information in articulating our needs that are there. As I said, in social media promotion. So in the enterprises, I think it's been quite used by our entrepreneurs. And at the same time, I can always say that if I may, whatever data comes in, we just dump it and the good analysis comes out, and which in
All
a
right.
simple language, which we have been using, and a
Right.
lot of it in translating language. So when we are interacting and providing training to several members, sometimes we have to make use of double time because we are investing in translation. Now these young trainees come up, they open some app, and whatever we are speaking, they can understand in their language. So that also becomes a little faster. So I think if we use it wisely, there are we and for us we need to learn. There are several things that we can do with AI. So in fact, we are thinking of developing a course for our grassroots members to understand what AI is going to
Hmm.
bring for us.
એટલે એક એમાં સ્મિતાબેન જેમ કે તમે વાત કરી કે એઆઈ ને બધું આપીએ એઆઈ આપી દે બધું ખરું પણ એને આપણે આપણી રીતે થોડુંક ઢાળવું પડે કેમ કે ઇઝ વેરી ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ કેમ કે ક્યાંક કેવી રીતે શું આપવું છે એટલે એ થોડુંક આપણે ધ્યાન રાખવું પડે છે.
So Salma is adding to it. So we may get everything from AI, but we also need to read carefully and understand an analysis. It's not that we can straight away give it. It may come up with something very vague.
Yep. Very good. And Luis Fernando, how about Fundación Paraguaya? How are you looking at using AI?
We are trying to embrace AI, but also considering the ethical concerns that may raise. We believe that is a very powerful tool, and actually, we are moving to the next step. We started to develop a couple of features in the different environments, technological environments we have, and we are just finalizing the first strategic plan on AI incorporation into Fundación Paraguaya. So, organizations that succeed using AI spend $2 in people's training compared to $1 in investment in technology itself. So that is the base of our thinking about AI. And going to the stoplight, it's actually we have now Rosa or Rose, who is an assistant, AI assistant that is just being launched for partners of the stoplight to be able to better read the results of their surveys. We also have Rose in the microfinance platform to help us read all not only the stoplights of our clients, the result, the aggregated results, but also the results of our portfolio itself. And we also have Rose in our employees in our employees app to help our employees better understand the policies the organization is launching to regulate all the activities we have. What I think specifically with the stoplight and the way and where we are going is to incorporate AI to help social workers leverage what they do. So I use this smartwatch, and many of you also use it, and that helps me to be in good shape. And it pushed me to complete my steps, and it pushed me to do exercise and etc. I think we can use AI in similar way just to support social workers to improve their job and to support them to reach more and more people and to have more time available for some indicators. And even though I follow what my smartwatch is telling me, there are people that just ignore the smartwatch. There are people that not even with a personal trainer will exercise. So poverty, I think poverty is similar. AI will help us with some indicators with some given families, but we will still need the social worker in certain areas or with certain families. For example, it's just a guess, but probably an AI can help a family to build its family budget. That sounds easy, you know. It's going to be very hard for AI and very risky and dangerous for AI to help a family with self-esteem. And I think probably this is going to be quite impossible to help a family with domestic violence. So it's a powerful tool. We have to be careful using it, but we have to embrace it. Actually, many of our social workers are using ChatGPT or Claude to help other families, to help their families overcome indicators. I remember that in a recent meeting I had with social workers in the north of the country, one of them mentioned that she wasn't able to convince a lady to go and do the annual medical control. So she asked ChatGPT how she can do it, and ChatGPT provide photos and explanation that she uses to support the family. So I think we should embrace ChatGPT and its equivalent, obviously.
Well, and I have to say it's helping me with my self-esteem because it tells me all my ideas are great. It um, so I want to give time for people to ask questions because we have such brilliant people here telling us how they're using the Stoplight and microfinance institutions. So I want to give you time. You can either type your question in or Julia and Wendy, if you can help me and identify people who want to ask questions and help them come off mute to ask them. But first, a question from
We only have
Malala,
questions.
who is a social worker in Madagascar. She says, how can governments, MFIs, NGOs, and community organizations collaborate to transform poverty stoplight data into broader public policies that reduce poverty at scale? So it's this question about social change. How can we use the data in a way that leads to government policies that help people that we're serving? So that's for both of you, if you want to, all of you.
Oh, I'll go first. So I think um, we have very powerful, uh, very good information coming from the field, and we should find ways to inform the governments that this info exists. We're doing our best efforts, but there are organizations we should partner with organizations that are specialized in doing that type of stuff. We, Fundación Paraguaya, we are not an organization doing lobby with governments. So or the way I see it is by bringing to the game to those organizations that are specialized in this. Meanwhile, we are doing our best to try to convince our national government uh, to use the data we provide. We succeed with some local and regional governments here in Paraguay and in Ecuador as well. And you also have some successful experiences, Larry.
Yep. Well, and in the UK, Signal is working with the Royal Statistical Office there and showing, having them see the data, but also having them see how it's used at the individual and group level.
Yeah.
Smita and Salma, you are a member organization, so part of what you do is advocate on behalf of your members to government. So how do you use Stoplight data to help you do that?
Yeah, so as I shared, because we come in with a lot of resolutions to be passed at the government level, and when we go and talk to them, this data becomes a solid information. So why, it will always support with a scientific base when we go there. If we are lobbying for a certain case, then we have the data that can be backed up. And in fact, it's a very powerful tool. And see, we organizations like us have always been using things like case studies or talking to the members, but we know it doesn't work till we actually supplement it to the information. And this information, when we collate it at the geographical level and at the national level, I think it comes up with a very good analysis as well. Just for us, like data, sharing of data, data security, being mindful of what is to be shared is something that we worry about. But rest of the time, I think the analysis is good supporting for our resolutions, which we go in for lobbying for the cases.
Yep, very good. All right, do we have other questions from the group? Anyone have questions of SEWA or Fundación Paraguaya?
Larry, we received a question from some of our members. We have people here from across Latin America and Africa, Asia. So some of the members, partners, excuse me, are only getting started with the stoplight. So they are wondering if Luis Fernando, Salma, or Smita could give them advice. How, having used a stoplight, how would you, what tips would you give them? Our new partners just getting started on the implementation of the stoplight within a microfinance operation. Thank you.
You want me to start?
Go ahead, Smita.
I think it is, even before using the tool, it's the orientation and readiness of the members is very important, because at the end of the day, it's right information, which is very important. It's not just a tick mark survey. It's very different from, a target-based survey that has to be done and quickly questions need to be answered. Here, we need to take time, sit with the member, and orient the member to herself with. Sometimes we had this experience, just now Salma was sharing with us, is when we asked income to the member, they did not want to disclose it, thinking, oh, if I say the income, might this benefit be stopped by the government, or would this happen, would that happen? So we really want to bring the member into confidence as to why we are doing it, and it's for us, and that process takes time, and we have to be really patient about it. So one, as Salma said, is developing the indicators which we want and which aligns to our needs. Second is taking the community together. It's something that we can do only when we are together. It's ownership. And third is that take time. When we have to ask questions, we really need to, some things can be observed and supplemented, the general rules of survey, but not make it a very time-bound and target-based kind of a thing. Then it is very good use of that. Patience, probably.
Yeah, and what I like about what you did is when you brought the stoplight in, you didn't just bring it and try to do it directly. You incorporated your 11 questions into it. You made it fit into your system. It was part of how you operated. And that I think is key to, make it something that actually helps you achieve your goals and to carry out your program in a better way.
Yeah. And I would say almost the same. Start slowly as an organization. There is not rush. You don't have to affect what you are already doing because you have so many constituents, including your clients, that are needing your services. You don't want to affect your services. You can start in the simplest way possible, and that will grow with the time because people will be demanding more and more and more. One of the reasons we did Verdeate is because clients were jealous or not of not having their stoplights. So remember that I mentioned that we started with 5% of our clients. So the other clients were asking, why I am not part of this stoplight program? No. It's something that people will be asking you later.
Yep. And I find it's important to fit it into the rhythms of your organization. If it's tacked on the outside, it easily falls away. But if it's part of the system, how you not only gather the data, but then use the data, report it back, it becomes integrated into how you do your work. It's very important to find ways of actually using the data at all levels, at the group level, at the management, the board level, and then reporting to governments, as we've talked about. I have another question. Go ahead.
Some final thought in that regard, Larry. It's also very important to properly manage the data. So you have to build trust with your clients on how their data is managed.
Right. Another question here. I'll read it off and we can go to. Is microfinance institutions increasingly adopt poverty stoplight technology to measure multidimensional poverty? How can they balance innovation, data-driven decision-making, and AI-enabled insights with the fundamental principles of human dignity, informed consent, accountability, and family self-determination, while ensuring that measurable poverty reduction remains the ultimate objective rather than financial performance alone? And so to summarize, how we have all these technological tools that we're bringing in, but at the core of the poverty stoplight methodology is this idea of individual and family agency and informed consent and people in charge of their own paths to thriving. How do we make sure that the tool doesn't become the master, but it remains in service to the people that we're working with? So, Smita,
If I can in here. So again, this is a tool that is owned by the community. And we are not, I mean, as we have to always be cautious about it, that we are not imposing anything. For example, my own growth, I am trying to monitor or I am trying to prioritize. It's not that someone else is trying to tell me, but someone is there to guide me. So I get my picture, I seek guidance from our friends, and then accordingly, then I can plan. So my dignity, I think it's my decision, it's my thing. And I also feel in a way, coming to the earlier communication that we had, the question is that we don't want to raise too much of expectations as well, that someone else is going to come and do miracles from my data. It's not that. It's my data. I need to move upstairs and ask for whatever help I need, but things have to be done by me. So that's the most important thing. And I did observe sometimes when they were very red in terms of income and very not comfortable in sharing with others because they were feeling low about it. But then gradually, because ours is a very close knit network, so they are they know the leaders of the village. They go and share with them. It's not taken to a bigger forum, but at least in the smaller forum, and then it helps them to prioritize and come out of it. We've seen a lot then there in the children's education aspect. So they then start educating their children. And then gradually things happen. So basically, we have to be very careful as a mentor ourselves that we don't make them something, oh, you are red here, this is not good, or something of that sort, that we be conscious about it. And at the same time, we let them come up, the members themselves come up with it.
એટલે તમે આમાં એટલે એક એડ કરું કે જ્યારે આપણે આ પોવર્ટી સ્ટોપ લાઇટ ફીસ ભરવાનું શરૂ કરીએ ને તો એમાં ટર્મ એન્ડ કન્ડિશન બી છે. એટલે સૌથી પહેલા તો આપણા જે મેમ્બર્સ છે ને આપણે એને અવેર કરીએ છીએ કે આ તમારું જે પણ ડેટા છે મેં ક્યાંય બહુ શેર નહીં કરી, એટલે ગુપ્ત રાખ્યું છે. તો એ જે આમ શું કહેવાય ને, ટ્રસ્ટ જે બંધાય છે ને, એ ત્યાં શરૂઆત છે કે ભાઈ એ ડેટા ક્યાંય શેર નથી થવાનો. તો એ પણ એક મોટો વિશ્વાસનો જે ભાગ જે છે એ કદાચ એ આ ટૂલને આગળ લઈ જવામાં મદદ કરે છે.
So Salma is adding that before we start using of this tool, there are terms and conditions which we talk to our members, and one of them is that your data will be confidential. So without your consent, we are not going to share the data with anyone. So that trust also needs to be inculcated, and they trust us, and then they give us the information. So that we have to really respect, because it's my family, my details. If I need to share it with someone, I need to have that openness and understanding.
Good. Luis Fernando?
Yeah, really few things to add, but respecting the principles of the stoplight, technology doesn't have to monitor the family. It's the family using the technology to monitor its own progress. So the key is who controls the data and who read it, who interprets the data. So is the family that itself doing the assessment, not somebody, not an outsider. The language also matters. A red indicator doesn't have to be framed as a failure. Failure is have to be framed as a starting point toward the next step. The tool is also showing the greens to show the proudness of the family, what the family has already achieved, not just the red and yellows, not just the gap. The family is the one that have to decide which indicator to work on. The first, the family data never have to be used to compare family against family, to rank them. That's why we don't have. This is not an index, it's not in that sense a competition. And also very important, family can reassess themselves over time and watch their own color change. So the cycle is I measure, I act, I measure again, and see my own change. That is what builds dignity. Technology hands back the family the control of their own story instead of turning them into an object of external surveillance.
Well, thank you. We've come to the end of our hour here, but I want to thank both of you very much for a very interesting conversation. Great to hear from you. We've had over 100 participants listening in, so people wanted to hear from both of you, both organizations. And in closing, I'm going to ask you to complete a sentence for me. So, technology serves people best when it helps them blank. Okay, technology serves people best when it helps them blank. So, Luis Fernando, I'll go to you first.
Yeah. When makes their life easier. I mean, technology doesn't have to be a problem, have to be a solution.
Okay, and Smita, technology serves people best when it helps them
Grow.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you. Great hearing from you, and I'll turn it back to Wendy. Any final announcements here?
Larry, I'll go. So we basically have another 3 more sessions today. So please check the program for the reminder of the day and as well as for the rest of the week. A lot of really good, exciting sessions today. Of course, Thursday and Friday. And a huge thank you to Smita and Salma. Thank you so much. And of course, Luis Fernando and you, Larry. This was a wonderful session. Over 100 participants from all over the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.